My brother's fiancée looked me dead in the eye and said, "It's just a cream dress. Stop being controlling." But when I saw it, it was pure white. AITA for telling her she's banned if she wears it to my wedding? Let me start from the beginning, because this drama has layers like a wedding cake, and they're all bitter. I'm 28F, getting married to my amazing fiancé Jake, 30M, next month. We've been together for 4 years, and honestly, planning this wedding has been a dream, until my brother's fiancé decided to turn it into a nightmare. My brother Danny, 31M, has been with his fiancée Sarah, 32F, for about 2 years now. They got engaged 6 months after Jake and I did, which should have been the first red flag. But I was happy for them. I thought it was sweet that we'd have a double celebration year. I was so wrong. The background drama. Sarah has always been competitive with me. It started small, little comments about how lucky I was to find Jake first, how she wished she could afford a dress like mine when we went shopping, how her ring was more unique than my traditional engagement ring. I brushed it off because, honestly, I've never been one for drama, and I figured she was just trying to bond with me in her own weird way. But then the comparisons started getting more pointed. When I announced our wedding date, she immediately started planning theirs for 2 months after ours. When I showed the family photos of our venue, a beautiful garden estate that we saved for 2 years to book, she suddenly found an issue with every detail. "Oh, outdoor weddings are so risky," she'd say. "What if it rains?" I could never trust my special day to the weather. When I picked my bridesmaids, she made comments about how she was keeping her bridal party small and intimate, quality over quantity. When I shared my wedding colors, dusty rose and sage green, she rolled her eyes and said they were very Pinterest-y and that she was going for something more sophisticated and timeless. Every single thing became a comparison or a subtle dig. My mom noticed it too. After one particularly awkward family dinner, where Sarah managed to turn every wedding conversation back to herself, Mom pulled me aside and said, "Honey, I don't think this girl is as happy for you as she pretends to be." But I kept trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. She was going to be my sister-in-law, after all. I wanted us to get along. God, I was naive. The shopping trip from hell. 3 months ago, my mom organized a bridal shopping day for all the important women in my life. My future mother-in-law, my maid of honor, my best friend Lily, my 2 other bridesmaids, my cousin Emma, who's like a sister to me, and yes, Sarah. I thought it would be a great bonding experience. We hit several boutiques looking at bridesmaid dresses, accessories, and just generally having fun with wedding stuff. Sarah was actually pleasant for most of the day, which made me hopeful that maybe we were turning a corner. Then we stopped for lunch at this cute little cafe downtown. We were all chatting about the wedding timeline when Sarah suddenly perked up and said, "Oh, speaking of the wedding, I found the perfect dress for your big day." I was thrilled. Finally, she was showing genuine enthusiasm for my wedding. "Really? That's so sweet of you to put thought into it." "Yeah," she continued, practically glowing. "It's this gorgeous long gown with the most beautiful lace detailing. It's got a sweetheart neckline and this amazing train that just flows behind you. I saw it in the window at that new boutique on 5th Street, and I just knew it was meant to be." I felt my stomach drop. Everything she was describing sounded bridal. Very, very bridal. "That sounds lovely," I said carefully. "What color is it?" Sarah waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, it's this beautiful cream color. Almost white, but not quite. It's absolutely stunning." The entire table went quiet. My mom's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. Lily looked like she'd seen a ghost. My future mother-in-law, bless her sweet, diplomatic soul, cleared her throat gently. "Sarah, honey," Mom said in that carefully controlled voice she uses when she's trying not to lose her shit, "you know that traditionally, only the bride wears white or cream to a wedding, right?" Sarah laughed, actually laughed, and said, "Oh, come on, Mrs. Peterson. It's 2024. These old-fashioned rules are so outdated. Besides, everyone knows who the bride is. It's not like anyone's going to be confused." I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. Was my future sister-in-law really sitting here, casually announcing her plan to wear what sounded like a wedding dress to MY wedding. Sarah, I said, trying to keep my voice level. I really appreciate you wanting to look nice, but I have to agree with my mom. The white dress rule exists for a reason. Maybe we could find you something in a different color? You'd look amazing in navy blue, or even a deep emerald green. Her smile faltered just a bit, but she recovered quickly. Well, like I said, it's more cream than white. And I already put a deposit down, so. She shrugged like it was out of her hands. The rest of lunch was awkward as hell. Everyone tried to change the subject, but there was this weird tension hanging over the table. When we got back to shopping, Sarah was suddenly tired and wanted to head home early. After she left, my mom immediately turned to me and said, "Absolutely not. Do not let that girl wear white to your wedding." For 2 weeks after the shopping trip, I tried to convince myself that maybe I was overreacting. Maybe the dress wasn't as bridal as it sounded. Maybe Sarah just had poor judgment, not malicious intent. Then Emma sent me a text that made my blood run cold. Is this the dress Sarah was talking about? Attached was a screenshot from Instagram. Sarah had posted a photo of herself at the boutique, trying on what could only be described as a wedding dress. Full length, pure white, not cream, white, with intricate lace detailing and a fucking train. She was even holding a bouquet of flowers the boutique provided for photos. The caption read, "Found my outfit for a very special upcoming event. Can't wait to feel like a princess. Princess Sparkles #DressUp #special occasion #feeling blessed." I screenshot that post so fast my phone nearly caught fire. I called Lily immediately. "Please tell me you're seeing Sarah's Instagram right now," I said before she could even say hello. "Oh, honey," Lily said, and I could hear the sympathy in her voice. "I've been staring at it for 10 minutes trying to figure out how to bring it to your attention without causing World War III. "Lily, that's a wedding dress." "That's a wedding dress," she confirmed. "She's planning to wear a wedding dress to my wedding." "She's planning to wear a wedding dress to your wedding." We sat in silence for a moment, both processing the sheer audacity of it all. "What do I do?" I finally asked. "You shut that shit down," Lily said firmly. "And if Danny has a problem with it, then you shut him down too." The private conversation. I decided to handle this maturely and privately. I didn't want to cause family drama or put Danny in the middle unnecessarily. I would just have a calm, adult conversation with Sarah, explain why this was inappropriate, and we'd figure out a solution together. God, I was still so naive. I called Sarah the next day and asked if we could grab coffee to chat about wedding stuff. She seemed excited, which made me hopeful that this would go smoothly. We met at a Starbucks halfway between our apartments. I ordered my usual latte. She got some complicated drink with 17 modifications, and we settled into a corner table. "So," I said, trying to sound casual, "I saw your Instagram post from the boutique. That dress is absolutely gorgeous." Sarah lit up. "Right? I look amazing in it. The moment I put it on, I felt like I was meant to wear it." "It's definitely stunning," I agreed. "But Sarah, I have to be honest with you, it looks very bridal. And with it being white and all, I'm worried it might be a little too formal for a wedding guest." Her smile didn't waver, but something shifted in her eyes. "What do you mean?" I took a deep breath. "I mean, traditionally, white is reserved for the bride at weddings. I know you said it was cream, but in the photo, it looks pretty white to me. And with the style being so formal, and the train and everything, I'm just concerned that people might think it's inappropriate." Sarah leaned back in her chair and crossed her arms. "Inappropriate? Not inappropriate like that," I said quickly, realizing how it sounded. "Just you know how people can be about wedding etiquette. I don't want anyone making comments or you feeling uncomfortable. So you're saying I can't wear the dress I want to wear?" This was not going the way I'd hoped. "I'm not saying you can't wear what you want. I'm just suggesting that maybe we could find you something equally beautiful in a different color. You'd look incredible in so many colors, Sarah. What about that emerald green the first mentioned? Or a deep burgundy? Those would photograph beautifully, and—" "I'm not changing my dress," Sarah said flatly. I blinked. "I'm sorry?" I said I'm not changing my dress. "I love it, I already bought it, and I'm wearing it to your wedding." She leaned forward, and her voice took on this sickeningly sweet tone. "Besides, like I said before, everyone knows you're the bride. It's not like anyone's going to be confused about who's getting married." "Sarah, please. I'm not trying to be controlling here, but this is my wedding day. It's supposed to be special, and having another woman in white is going to be distracting and—" "Distracting from what?" she interrupted. "Are you worried that people might think I look better than you?" The question hit me like a slap. I sat there, mouth open, trying to process what she'd just said. "That's not, Sarah. That's not what this is about at all." "Isn't it, though?" She tilted her head, studying me like I was some interesting specimen. "I mean, you're clearly threatened by me wearing this dress, so what other reason could there be?" I felt tears prick at my eyes, but I was determined not to cry in front of her. "I'm not threatened by you, Sarah. I just want to follow basic wedding etiquette. It's not personal." "Everything about weddings is personal," she said, standing up and grabbing her purse. "And you know what? Maybe it's time someone taught you that the world doesn't revolve around you just because you're getting married first." She left me sitting there, coffee growing cold, wondering what the hell had just happened. Danny takes sides. That evening, Danny called me. I could tell from his tone that Sarah had already gotten to him. "Really, Jess? You're going to police what my fiancée wears to your wedding?" "Danny, she wants to wear a wedding dress." "It's not the wedding dress. It's just a formal dress." "Have you seen the photo?" There was a pause. "What photo?" I sent him the screenshot immediately. Then I waited. "Okay," he said after a few minutes. "It's a little formal, but—" "A little formal?" "Danny, she looks like she's trying on wedding dresses for her own wedding." "Maybe the lighting is weird in the photo." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Are you seriously defending this right now?" "I'm defending my fiancé, who you just accused of trying to upstage you at your own wedding. Do you have any idea how that made her feel?" "How that made her feel?" "Danny, she basically told me to my face that she thinks people might find her more attractive than me in that dress." "That's not what she told me." "Of course it wasn't." "What did she tell you?" "She said you were being controlling and unreasonable. That you demanded she change her dress because you didn't like the color." "She's really hurt, Jess." I felt like I was losing my mind. "Danny, I am begging you to look at this situation objectively. Would you want some guy showing up to your wedding in a full tuxedo with tails and a bow tie?" "That's completely different." "How is that different?" "Because guys don't have the same clothing rules that women do." I wanted to reach through the phone and shake him. "Danny, please. I am asking you, as your sister, to have a conversation with your fiancé about wearing literally any other dress. I'm not trying to control her or hurt her feelings. I just want my wedding day to be about me and Jake." "And it will be. You're making a big deal out of nothing." "If it's nothing, then why can't she just wear a different dress?" Silence. "Danny. Look, Jess, I'm not going to tell Sarah what she can and can't wear. If you have a problem with her dress, that's between you and her. But I think you're being ridiculous." He hung up on me. I called Jake immediately, sobbing into the phone as I told him everything that had happened. Bless that man. He listened to every word, asked all the right questions, and then said, "Baby, we're not letting anyone wear white to our wedding. I don't care if it causes drama. This is our day." That's when I knew I'd found my person. The family divide. Word of the dress drama spread through our family faster than wildfire. And of course, the story got twisted in the telling. According to Sarah's version, which somehow reached half our relatives before mine did, I had attacked her choice of outfit and was being a bridezilla who wanted to control every aspect of everyone's appearance. She painted herself as the victim of my unreasonable demands and told everyone that I was ruining the family dynamic before the wedding even happened. My mom, bless her, was 100% Team Jess from the beginning. She called me after talking to my aunt, who had heard Sarah's version first, and said, "Honey, I don't care if that girl shows up naked. She's not wearing white to your wedding." Dad, on the other hand, took the keep the peace approach that I should have expected. When I called him crying after my fight with Danny, he sighed and said, "Jessie, sweetheart, everyone knows you're the bride. Does it really matter what color dress she wears?" Is this really the hill you want to die on? Yes, I said firmly. It is. But think about the bigger picture here. Danny's your brother. Sarah's going to be part of this family. Is one dress worth potentially damaging those relationships? I felt like I was taking crazy pills. Dad, why is it my responsibility to preserve the peace? Why isn't it Sarah's responsibility to follow basic wedding etiquette? Why isn't it Danny's responsibility to support his sister instead of enabling his fiancé's inappropriate behavior? Dad went quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You know what, you're right. I'm sorry, honey. You shouldn't have to compromise on your own wedding day." That small validation meant everything to me. My extended family was split down the middle. My mom's sister, Aunt Carol, was firmly in my corner, saying she'd never heard of such disrespectful behavior from a wedding guest. My dad's brother, Uncle Mike, thought I was overreacting and should just let the girl wear what she wants. My cousins were divided too. Emma was ready to personally tackle Sarah if she showed up in white. My cousin Josh said I was starting family drama over something stupid. My grandmother, bless her soul, called me and said, "Honey, in my day, if a woman wore white to someone else's wedding, she'd be asked to leave. Period." But the person whose opinion mattered most, besides Jake's, was my future mother-in-law. Barbara called me 3 days after my fight with Danny. She'd heard about the situation through the family grapevine, thanks, Mom, and wanted to get my side of the story. After I explained everything, she was quiet for a long moment. "Jessica," she said finally, "in 35 years of marriage, I've learned that when someone shows you who they are, believe them. This girl is showing you exactly who she is and how she's going to treat you for the rest of your life. The question is, what are you going to do about it? What do you think I should do? I think you should set a boundary and stick to it. And if that causes drama, so be it. Better to deal with it now than spend the next 20 years being walked all over by this person." I loved that woman before, but in that moment, I absolutely adored her. The group chat explosion. Things escalated to a whole new level when my cousin Emma decided to create a group chat to discuss the situation. She added me, Danny, Sarah, my mom, my dad, and herself. It was supposed to be a neutral space where we could all talk things out like adults. It was a fucking disaster. Emma started by laying out the facts as she understood them. Sarah wanted to wear white to my wedding. I had asked her not to. She had refused, and now there was family tension. Sarah immediately jumped in with, "I want everyone to know that I never said I was wearing white. The dress is cream, which is a completely different color. Jessica is exaggerating the situation to make me look bad." I screenshot the Instagram photo and dropped it into the chat without comment. There was silence for about 5 minutes. Then Danny typed, "The lighting in that photo makes it look whiter than it actually is." My mom responded, "Daniel, that dress is white. Stop defending the indefensible." Dad chimed in, "Can we all just take a step back here? This is getting out of hand." "Sarah, I'm being attacked by my future in-laws for wanting to look nice at Jessica's wedding. This is exactly the kind of family drama I was hoping to avoid." Emma, "Sarah, literally no one is attacking you. We're just pointing out that wearing white to someone else's wedding is considered rude." Sarah, "Says who? Who made up these arbitrary rules about what colors people can wear? It's 2024, not 1824. Me, "Sarah, it's not an arbitrary rule. It's a widely recognized tradition that exists to ensure the bride feels special on her wedding day." Sarah, "So my comfort and happiness don't matter? Only yours do." My mom, "Your comfort should not come at the expense of the bride's special day." Danny, "Mom, you're being unfair to Sarah." My mom, "I'm being unfair? Daniel, your sister has asked for one simple thing, that your fiancé not wear white to her wedding. That is not an unreasonable request." Sarah, "It's not white, it's cream." Emma, "Sarah, I've seen the photo. That dress is white." Sarah, "Fine. Maybe it is white. So what? It's just a color. Why is everyone acting like I'm committing some terrible crime?" And that's when I realized she'd been lying about the cream thing all along. Me, "Sarah, You just admitted that you've been lying about the color of the dress this entire time. Sarah, I wasn't lying. I was trying to compromise. Danny, Jess, don't attack her for trying to find middle ground. Me. Middle ground? Danny, the middle ground would be her wearing literally any other color. Dad. Okay, everyone needs to calm down. Sarah, you know what? I'm done with this conversation. I'm going to wear whatever dress I want to wear, and if Jessica has a problem with that, she can deal with it. And then she left the group chat. Danny followed 30 seconds later. Emma. Well, that went well. Mom, I am so sorry, honey. I had no idea it would escalate like that. Me. It's not your fault, Mom. At least now I know exactly where everyone stands. The ultimatum. After the group chat disaster, I realized I needed to make my position crystal clear. I was done trying to be diplomatic about this. I was done trying to spare everyone's feelings. It was time to draw a line in the sand. I called Danny first. We need to talk, I said when he answered. If you're calling to complain about Sarah again, I'm calling to tell you what's going to happen at my wedding. He went quiet. I'm going to say this once, and I need you to really hear me. If Sarah shows up to my wedding in a white dress, cream, ivory, off-white, whatever she wants to call it, she will not be allowed into the venue. The ushers will have her photo and instructions to turn her away at the door. You can't be serious. I have never been more serious about anything in my life. Jess, she's my fiancée. She's going to be your sister-in-law. Then she should act like it. Danny, I have asked for one thing. One thing. I've compromised on everything else. The music, the seating arrangements, the plus ones. Hell, I even moved the rehearsal dinner to a different restaurant because Sarah said the original one was too casual. But I will not compromise on this. You're really going to ban my fiancé from your wedding over a dress?
No, Danny.
I'm going to ban anyone who shows up in white from my wedding, regardless of who they are. If Sarah chooses to wear white, she's choosing not to attend my wedding. That's ridiculous. What's ridiculous is that we're even having this conversation. What's ridiculous is that your fiancé thinks it's appropriate to wear a wedding dress to someone else's wedding. What's ridiculous is that my own brother is defending this behavior instead of supporting his sister. Danny was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was cold. If you don't let Sarah into your wedding, I won't be there either. My heart broke a little bit. Danny, please don't do this. You're the one doing it, Jess. You're the one choosing a dress color over your family. I'm not choosing a dress color over family. I'm choosing my dignity and my wedding day over enabling someone's selfish behavior. Sarah's not selfish. She's just particular about how she looks. Particular enough to wear white to someone else's wedding? Particular enough to want to look her best at an important family event. I realized in that moment that Danny was never going to see this from my perspective. Sarah had gotten to him first, spun the story her way, and he'd bought it completely. Danny, I said sadly, I love you. You're my brother, and I want you in my wedding. But I'm not going to let anyone, not even family, disrespect me on my wedding day. The choice is Sarah's. She can wear any other dress in existence, or she can stay home. Those are her options. Those are shitty options. They're the only options she's getting. I hung up feeling simultaneously empowered and heartbroken. The family pressure campaign. Over the next week, I got calls from practically every family member we had. Some were supportive, but most were trying to convince me to be the bigger person and just let Sarah wear whatever she wanted. Uncle Mike called to tell me I was making mountains out of molehills and that family harmony was more important than dress colors. Aunt Carol called to tell me that Uncle Mike was an idiot and that she'd personally rip the dress off Sarah if she showed up in white. My cousin Josh texted me a long message about how weddings were just one day, but family relationships were forever, and I should think about the long-term consequences of my actions. Emma texted back, Josh is an idiot. Stick to your guns. My grandmother called and said, honey, sometimes you have to train people how to treat you. If you let this girl walk all over you now, she'll do it for the rest of your life. My dad's sister, Aunt Linda, whom I barely ever talked to, called to lecture me about family unity and Christian forgiveness. My mom's cousin called to share a story about her own wedding, where her sister-in-law wore white, and it caused decades of resentment that never fully healed. Jake's family was unanimously supportive of my decision. His mom said, "Anyone who would do that isn't someone you want at your wedding anyway." His sister offered to be the official, white dress bouncer at the door. But the call that almost broke my resolve came from my dad's mom, Grandma Peterson. "Jessica, dear," she said in her gentle, elderly voice, "I know you're upset about this dress situation." "I am, Grandma. And I understand why. When I got married in 1965, if someone had shown up in white, it would have been scandalous." I felt hope rising in my chest. Finally, someone from Dad's side who understood. "But honey," she continued, "times have changed. People don't follow the old rules anymore. And sometimes, as women, we have to pick our battles. Is this really worth potentially losing your brother over?" I felt tears welling up in my eyes. "Grandma, would you have let someone wear white to your wedding?" She was quiet for a long moment. "No," she said finally. "I wouldn't have. But I also wouldn't have had to. People knew better back then." "So, why should I have to accept behavior that you wouldn't have accepted?" Another long pause. "Maybe you shouldn't," she said softly. "Maybe I'm wrong to ask you to be more flexible than I would have been." That conversation haunted me for days. The final straw. 2 weeks before the wedding, I was at my final dress fitting when my phone buzzed with a notification from Instagram. Sarah had posted another photo. This time, she was wearing the white dress to what looked like a fancy dinner. The caption read, "Date night with my love. Getting so much use out of this gorgeous dress before the big event next weekend. Two hearts can't wait to celebrate love with the family. Hashtag date night, hashtag looking forward, hashtag family love."
She was taunting me.
She was literally taunting me on social media. I screenshot the post and sent it to Jake, Emma, and my mom without comment. Jake called me immediately. "Baby, I'm done playing games with these people." "What do you mean?" "I mean I'm hiring security for our wedding." "Jake, you don't need to do that." "Yes, I do. This isn't just about the dress anymore, Jess. This is about someone who's deliberately trying to cause drama and stress you out before our wedding day. I'm not letting that happen." My mom texted, "That's it. I'm calling your brother." Emma texted, "OH hella no. This bitch is going down." I sat in the bridal boutique, surrounded by mirrors reflecting my beautiful wedding dress, crying because my future sister-in-law was playing mind games with me 2 weeks before my wedding. The seamstress, a sweet older woman named Maria, noticed my tears and asked if I was okay. I found myself telling her the whole story. When I finished, she shook her head and said, "Mija, in 40 years of doing wedding alterations, I've seen this before. Some women, they can't stand to see another woman be the center of attention. You do what you need to do to protect your special day." "But what if I'm overreacting? Are you wearing white to her wedding?" "Of course not." "Then you're not overreacting." Mom's intervention. My mom, bless her heart, decided to make one final attempt at reasoning with Danny and Sarah. She called them both and asked if they could meet for coffee to clear the air. Danny agreed. Sarah, according to Danny, was too hurt by the family's treatment of her to participate. Mom came over after the meeting looking exhausted and frustrated. "How did it go?" I asked. "Your brother is completely brainwashed," she said bluntly. I showed him Sarah's latest Instagram post, and he said she was just excited about looking nice for your wedding. When I pointed out that normal people don't post multiple photos of their outfit before wearing it to someone else's wedding, he said I was reading too much into it. What else did he say? He said that Sarah feels like the whole family has turned against her over something silly. He said she's been crying every day and that she feels like she's being forced to choose between looking nice and being accepted by her future in-laws. I felt a pang of guilt, which immediately made me angry. "Mom, did you explain to him that she could look nice in literally any other color?" "Of course I did. He said that she fell in love with this particular dress and that asking her to return it was like asking her to give up something that makes her happy." And what did you say to that? Mom smiled grimly. I told him that his sister fell in love with the idea of being the only woman in white at her own wedding, and that if anyone should have to give up something that makes them happy, it shouldn't be the bride. How did he respond to that? He said I was being unfair and taking sides. You are taking sides, Mom. You're taking my side. Damn right I am. And I told him that too. I said, Daniel, I am absolutely taking sides. I'm taking your sister's side because she's the bride, and she's in the right, and you should be ashamed of yourself for not supporting her. I hugged my mom so tight I probably cracked her ribs. Did that get through to him at all? Honestly, honey, I don't think anything will get through to him. Sarah has him convinced that you're the villain in this story, and he's too invested in that narrative to see the truth. So what do? You do exactly what you've been doing. You stick to your boundaries, you enjoy your wedding day, and you let the chips fall where they may. The final week before my wedding was a blur of last-minute preparations, vendor confirmations, and trying to pretend that my heart wasn't breaking over the situation with Danny. Jake and I had decided to hire 2 security guards for the wedding, one for the ceremony venue and one for the reception. We gave them photos of Sarah and clear instructions. If she showed up in white, she was not to be admitted, and if she caused a scene, she was to be escorted off the property. I felt ridiculous having to take such measures, but I also felt empowered. I was protecting my wedding day and my peace of mind. 3 days before the wedding, I got a text from Danny. Jess, I'm begging you to reconsider. Sarah picked out a different dress. She's going to wear navy blue. Can we please put this behind us? My heart leaped. Finally, Sarah was going to do the right thing. I called Danny immediately. Is this for real? She's really going to wear a different dress. Yes, Danny said, and I could hear the relief in his voice. She found a beautiful navy blue dress. She looks amazing in it. Danny, I'm so glad she came around. I never wanted this to be a fight. I know you didn't, Jess. And I'm sorry things got so heated. Sarah was she really loved that white dress, you know? But she loves you more, and she wants to be there for your special day. I actually started crying on the phone. I love her too, Danny. I want us to be sisters. You will be. Everything's going to be fine. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe again. 2 days before the wedding, Emma called me. Jess, you need to see Sarah's Instagram story. My stomach dropped. What now? Just look at it. I opened Instagram with shaking hands and went to Sarah's profile. Her latest story was a video of her in a department store holding up 2 dresses. One was navy blue. One was white, the same white dress from all the previous photos. The video showed her looking back and forth between the dresses with a conflicted expression on her face. Text overlay read, Decisions. Thinking face, what would you choose? Hashtag last minute choices. Hashtag so hard to decide. I called Emma back. She's still planning to wear the white dress, I said. It sure looks that way. But Danny said what Sarah told him to say. She's playing games, Jess. I felt like I was going to throw up. What do? You do nothing. You've made your boundaries clear. You've hired security. If she shows up in white, she gets turned away, and that's on her. But Danny will be devastated. Danny will be exactly as devastated as Sarah wants him to be. She's manipulating this entire situation, and she's using him to manipulate you. I knew Emma was right, but it didn't make it any easier. The day before my wedding, I didn't hear from Danny at all. Wedding day morning. I woke up on my wedding day with a mixture of excitement and dread in my stomach. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, and instead, I was wondering if my brother would show up and what color dress his fiancée would be wearing. Lily and my other bridesmaids came over early to start getting ready. We had mimosas and pastries, did face masks, and tried to create the happy, relaxed atmosphere I'd always dreamed of for my wedding morning. But I was distracted. Every time my phone buzzed, I jumped, thinking it might be Danny or Sarah or some other family member with last-minute drama. Around 10 a.m., my mom showed up with my hair and makeup team. She took one look at my face and said, "Honey, whatever happens today, It's not going to ruin your wedding. You're marrying the man of your dreams. You look absolutely stunning, and everyone who matters is here to celebrate with you. But what if Danny doesn't come? Then Danny doesn't come. And that will be his loss, not yours. What if Sarah shows up in the white dress anyway? Then security will handle it, and you'll never even know she was there. My mom was right, but it was hard to shake the anxiety. At 11 a.m., Jake texted me, "Good morning, beautiful. I can't wait to marry you today. Everything's going to be perfect." That text made me cry happy tears and completely messed up the makeup artist's work, but I didn't care. At noon, Emma burst into the bridal suite with news. "I just saw Danny at the hotel," she said breathlessly. And I demanded, "He's here. He's in his groomsman tux. He looks nervous as hell, but he's here." "What about Sarah?" Emma's expression darkened. "I didn't see her, but I overheard Danny talking to one of his friends in the lobby. He said something about Sarah needing some time to decide what to wear." My stomach clenched. She's still planning to wear the white dress. Maybe. Or maybe she's just messing with everyone's heads until the last possible second. Lily looked up from where she was getting her hair done. "You know what, Jess? Screw Sarah. Today is about you and Jake. Whatever drama she brings is her problem, not yours." "Lily's right," said my other bridesmaid, Hannah. "We've got security, we've got a plan, and we've got your back. Sarah can do whatever she wants. It's not going to ruin your day." I tried to channel their confidence, but as we got closer to ceremony time, I felt more and more on edge. At 2 p.m., an hour before the ceremony, my dad knocked on the bridal suite door. "Jessie, can I talk to you for a minute?" I stepped out into the hallway, and Dad immediately pulled me into a hug. "You look absolutely beautiful, sweetheart." "Thanks, Dad. Is everything okay?" Dad sighed. "Danny's here. He's in the groomsmen's room with Jake and the other guys." "And Sarah?" No sign of her yet. I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe she decided not to come at all. Maybe the drama was over. "But," Dad continued, "Danny seems really agitated. Jake's trying to keep him calm, but he keeps checking his phone and pacing around the room. Do you think she's going to show up?" "Honestly, honey, I have no idea. But I want you to know that whatever happens, I'm proud of you for standing your ground. Your grandmother called me last night and said she was wrong to try to talk you out of setting boundaries. She said you're doing the right thing." That meant more to me than I could express. "Dad, if Sarah shows up in white and causes a scene, then we'll handle it. You won't even have to think about it. That's what family is for." At 2:30 p.m., I was putting on my wedding dress when my phone rang. It was Danny. I stared at the screen for a moment, then declined the call. It rang again immediately. "Jess, you should probably answer that," Lily said gently. I picked up on the third ring. "Danny." "Jess, we need to talk." "Danny, I'm getting married in 30 minutes. Whatever this is about, it needs to wait. It's about Sarah." My blood ran cold. "What about Sarah?" She's in the parking lot." "Okay. She's wearing the white dress." I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. "Danny, you promised me she was going to wear navy blue. She changed her mind at the last minute. She said she couldn't bear to return the white dress because it was so beautiful. So, she's planning to wear it into my wedding. Jess, please. Can't you just make an exception? She looks incredible, and she's so excited to celebrate with you." I hung up on him. Lily, who had heard the entire conversation, immediately started texting someone. "What are you doing?" I asked. "Texting Jake to let him know what's happening. He'll handle it." "I can't believe this is happening." "Yes, you can," Emma said firmly. "You've known this was going to happen for weeks. Sarah has been planning this the entire time. She wanted the drama, she wanted the attention, and she wanted to see if she could manipulate you into backing down. But she's not going to win," Hannah added, "because we have a plan and we're going to stick to it." 5 minutes later, Jake called me. "Baby, I need you to listen to me." "Jake, I can't handle any more drama right now." "There's not going to be any more drama. I've talked to security. They know exactly what to do. Sarah is not getting into our wedding. Danny is upset, but he's staying. Your wedding is going to be perfect. Are you sure? I have never been more sure of anything in my life. The only thing you need to think about is walking down that aisle to me. At 3 p.m., I was standing in the bridal suite, fully dressed and ready to marry the love of my life. My dad came to get me, and as we walked toward the ceremony space, he squeezed my arm and said, "You ready for this, kiddo?" "I'm ready." And I was. Whatever was happening in the parking lot, whatever drama Sarah was trying to create, it didn't matter anymore. I was about to marry Jake, and that was the only thing that mattered. As we approached the doors to the ceremony space, I could hear the music starting. The doors opened, and I saw all of our friends and family standing and smiling, waiting for me to walk down the aisle. And there, at the end of the aisle, was Jake in his perfectly tailored tux, looking at me like I was the only person in the world. I didn't look to see if Danny was standing with the other groomsmen. I didn't scan the crowd to see if there was any white in the audience. I just focused on Jake and started walking toward my future. The ceremony was absolutely perfect. We'd written our own vows, and when Jake promised to always put our marriage first and protect what we've built together, I knew he was thinking about more than just the usual marriage challenges. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," Jake lifted my veil and whispered, "We did it, Mrs. Thompson," before kissing me like we were the only two people on earth. As we walked back down the aisle as husband and wife, I finally let myself look around at our guests. Everyone was beaming and clapping. My mom was crying happy tears. Jake's parents looked radiant. And there was Danny, standing with the groomsmen, applauding with tears in his eyes. No sign of Sarah anywhere. The reception revelation. During cocktail hour, while Jake and I were taking photos, Emma pulled me aside. "I have tea," she said with a wicked grin. "Tell me everything." So Sarah did show up in the white dress, just like we expected. And security stopped her at the entrance to the ceremony space, exactly like we planned. Did she cause a scene? Oh, honey, did she ever? Emma's eyes were practically sparkling with glee as she told me the story. Apparently, Sarah had arrived about 10 minutes before the ceremony was supposed to start, wearing the white dress and acting like nothing was wrong. When security stopped her and explained that she couldn't enter while wearing white, she completely lost it. She started screaming about how it was discrimination and how she was being targeted by my bridezilla sister-in-law. She demanded to speak to you personally. "Please tell me they didn't get me." Of course not. Security handled it perfectly. They explained that they were following the bride and groom's explicit instructions and that if she wanted to attend the ceremony, she needed to change into a different outfit. What did she do? She asked if they had a dress she could borrow. I burst out laughing. Are you kidding me? Dead serious. When they said no, she asked if she could just put a sweater over the white dress. A sweater. Over a wedding dress. A sweater over a wedding dress. I was laughing so hard I was crying, which was probably going to mess up my makeup again, but I didn't care. It gets better, Emma continued. When security explained that any white clothing was not allowed, she started arguing that the dress was cream and technically ivory, and that they were being overly literal with the rules. Did Danny see any of this? Oh, he saw all of it. He came outside to try to calm her down, and she started yelling at him about how his family was treating her terribly and how he needed to choose between her and them. My heart sank. What did he do? Here's the part you're going to love, Emma said with a huge smile. He told her that she knew the rules, she chose to break them anyway, and now she needed to deal with the consequences. He said he was going to be in his sister's wedding, and if she wanted to attend, she needed to figure out how to do it appropriately. I stared at Emma in shock. Danny actually stood up to her? Danny actually stood up to her. And when she kept arguing and demanding that he leave with her, he told her that he wasn't missing his sister's wedding because of her poor choices. I can't believe it. Sarah apparently threw an absolute fit, screaming about how everyone was against her and how she was being treated unfairly. A couple of other wedding guests came outside to see what was happening, which only made her more embarrassed and angry. So, what happened in the end? She stormed off to her car, still wearing the white dress, and drove away. Danny came back inside, apologized to Jake and your parents, and took his place with the groomsmen. I felt overwhelmed with relief and pride and love for my brother all at once. Emma, I need to go talk to Danny. You need to go enjoy your cocktail hour first. You can talk to family drama later. Today is about celebrating your marriage. She was right, but I couldn't stop thinking about Danny and how hard it must have been for him to choose our family over Sarah's tantrum. The brother talk. After dinner, but before dancing started, I found Danny standing alone on the venue's back patio, looking out at the garden. Hey, I said softly. He turned around, and I could see that he'd been crying. Hey, Mrs. Thompson, he said with a watery smile. Danny, I'm so sorry about what happened earlier.
No, Jess. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. I'm sorry I defended Sarah when I should have been supporting you. I'm sorry I let things get so out of hand. I hugged him tightly. You're here now. That's what matters. I can't believe I almost missed your wedding because of this. But you didn't miss it. You were right there when I walked down the aisle, and that's all I wanted. Danny pulled back and looked at me seriously. Jess, I need you to know that I see it now. I see what Sarah was doing, how she was manipulating the situation. When she showed up today in that dress, after promising me she was going to wear navy blue, I realized that she'd been lying to me about a lot of things. Danny, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Because you tried to tell me, and I didn't listen. Sarah wasn't just trying to look nice at your wedding. She was trying to upstage you. She was trying to make your special day about her. And when I finally saw that for what it was, I realized how badly I'd failed you as a brother. I started crying, which was definitely going to require another makeup touch-up. You didn't fail me, Danny. You're here. You stood up for me when it mattered. I should have stood up for you from the beginning. What matters is that you figured it out in time. We stood there hugging for a long moment before Danny asked the question I'd been dreading. What do I do now, Jess? About Sarah, I mean. I thought carefully before answering. That's up to you, Danny. But I will say this. Someone who would try to sabotage your sister's wedding probably isn't someone you want to build a life with. Danny nodded slowly. I've been thinking the same thing. Whatever you decide, I'll support you. Because that's what family does. I love you, Jess. I love you too, Danny. The rest of my wedding was absolutely magical. Jake and I had our first dance to At Last by Etta James, and I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. During the father-daughter dance, my dad whispered, I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself, sweetheart. You handled this whole situation with more grace than Sarah deserved. My mom gave a speech during dinner that made everyone cry, talking about how Jake and I were perfect partners who always supported each other through everything. I knew she was thinking about recent events when she said it. Jake's best man told embarrassing stories about college. My maid of honor Lily talked about how she knew Jake was the one the first time she saw him calm me down during a panic attack, and even Danny got up to give a speech. My sister Jessica, he said, his voice a little shaky, has always been someone who knows her own mind and isn't afraid to stand up for what's right. She's taught me a lot about integrity lately, and I'm grateful for that lesson. Jake, you're getting an incredible woman who will always have your back and will never compromise on the things that matter to her. Take care of her. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. We danced until midnight, took 1,000,000 photos, ate way too much cake, and celebrated with all the people who truly mattered to us. Every time I looked around the room and saw all our friends and family laughing and dancing and having a wonderful time, I felt grateful that I'd stood my ground. This was exactly the wedding I'd wanted, joyful, elegant, and drama-free. Well, mostly drama-free. The aftermath. The next morning, while Jake and I were having room service breakfast in our hotel suite before leaving for our honeymoon, I checked my phone for the first time since the ceremony. I had 17 missed calls from Sarah and about 30 text messages. The text started out angry. I can't believe you had me thrown out of your wedding. You humiliated me in front of everyone. Your security guards were completely inappropriate and rude. I hope you're happy with yourself for ruining your relationship with Danny. Then they got manipulative. I was just trying to look nice for your special day. I don't understand why you had to be so cruel about it. I thought we were going to be sisters. How could you treat me like this? Danny is devastated. He can't believe his sister would do this to someone he loves. And finally, they got desperate. Please call me.
We need to talk about this.
I want to make things right between us. I'm willing to apologize if you are. Can we please just put this behind us? For Danny's sake. I showed the messages to Jake, who read them with increasing incredulity. She's really trying to make herself the victim here, he said. Should I respond? Absolutely not. You don't owe her anything, and responding will just encourage more drama. I deleted all the messages and blocked Sarah's number. 2 days into our honeymoon in Italy, Danny called me. Hey, Jess. How's the honeymoon? It's amazing, Danny. Rome is incredible. I'm glad. You deserve it. There was a pause, and then he said, I need to tell you something. Sarah and I are taking a break. I sat up straighter on the hotel balcony. Danny, I'm sorry. Are you okay? Honestly, I'm relieved. After what happened at your wedding, I started thinking about a lot of other things Sarah has done that I'd been making excuses for. The way she talks about other women, the way she always has to be the center of attention, the way she manipulates situations to get her way. You don't have to explain anything to me. I wanted, though, because I need you to know that I see it now. Sarah didn't just make a poor choice about what to wear to your wedding. She deliberately tried to sabotage your special day, and when she couldn't do it, she tried to manipulate me into choosing her over our family. I felt sad for Danny, but also proud of him for recognizing the truth. What are you going to do? I'm going to take some time to figure out what I want. Sarah wants to go to couples counseling, but honestly, I don't think therapy can fix someone who thinks it's appropriate to wear a wedding dress to someone else's wedding. Danny, whatever you decide, I support you. I know you do, and I love you for it. 3 months after our wedding, Danny officially ended his engagement with Sarah. According to him, she spent the entire 3-month break trying to convince him that I was the problem and that our family had unfairly ganged up on her. When he finally told her it was over, she apparently blamed me entirely, saying that I had poisoned him against her and destroyed their relationship because I was jealous of her. Danny didn't take the bait. My mom told me that Sarah called her after the breakup, crying and asking if there was anything she could do to make things right with the family. Mom politely but firmly told her that ship had sailed when she decided to wear white to my wedding after being explicitly asked not to. Emma reported that Sarah's social media went through several phases after the breakup. First, cryptic posts about fake people and learning who your real friends are, then inspirational quotes about rising above negativity and moving on from toxic situations, and finally, radio silence. A few weeks ago, I heard through the family grapevine that Sarah had started dating someone new and was already posting photos of herself in wedding dresses at bridal boutiques. I felt sorry for whatever poor woman would eventually have to deal with Sarah as a wedding guest. Reflecting on it all, now 6 months after my wedding, I can honestly say that I have zero regrets about how I handled the situation. My wedding day was absolutely perfect, and I'm grateful every day that I stood my ground instead of letting Sarah turn it into the Sarah show. I learned some important lessons through all of this. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Sarah showed me from the very beginning that she was competitive and attention-seeking. I should have trusted my instincts instead of giving her the benefit of the doubt. Setting boundaries isn't cruel, it's necessary. I wasn't trying to hurt Sarah by asking her not to wear white. I was protecting my own special day, which was completely reasonable. You can't control other people's reactions to your boundaries, but you can control whether you stick to them. Sarah chose to have a meltdown instead of simply wearing a different dress. That was her choice, not mine. Family members who truly love you will support your reasonable requests, even if it takes them a while to come around. Danny eventually realized that Sarah was in the wrong, and he chose our family over her manipulation. Standing up for yourself might cause temporary drama, but giving in to unreasonable demands causes long-term resentment. If I had let Sarah wear white to my wedding, I would have been angry about it for the rest of my life. Most importantly, I learned that my wedding day was about Jake and me, not about managing other people's feelings or keeping the peace at any cost. Jake and I are blissfully happy. We just celebrated our 6-month anniversary with a quiet dinner at the restaurant where we had our first date, and we're already talking about starting a family in the next couple of years. Danny is doing great too. He's been dating someone new for the past month, a lovely woman named Rachel who works as a teacher and seems to have zero interest in creating drama or being the center of attention. When I met her a few weeks ago, the first thing she said was, "I saw photos of your wedding dress online, and you looked absolutely stunning. I can't wait to see what you choose for my wedding someday, assuming Danny and I get that far." She's a keeper. After everything that happened, I still occasionally wonder if I was too harsh. Should I have just let Sarah wear whatever she wanted and focused on enjoying my day regardless? Was I really being a bridezilla by insisting on such a traditional rule? But then I remember Sarah's Instagram posts, her deliberate taunting, her refusal to compromise even when offered beautiful alternatives, and her manipulation of my brother. I remember that she had months to choose a different dress and deliberately chose not to. I remember that she lied about the color of the dress and then admitted she'd been lying when caught. Most of all, I remember that this wasn't really about a dress at all. It was about respect, boundaries, and someone's deliberate attempt to make my wedding day about her instead of about me and Jake. I protected my wedding day and my marriage from someone who was actively trying to sabotage both. I stood up for myself when my own brother wouldn't stand up for me. I refused to be manipulated or bullied into compromising on something that was important to me. So no, I don't think I'm the asshole. I think I'm a woman who learned to advocate for herself and protect her own happiness, even when it meant disappointing people who claimed to love me. And honestly, my wedding photos are absolutely gorgeous, and there's not a single person in white in any of them except for me. Worth it. Update: a lot of people have been asking about whether Sarah ever apologized or showed any remorse. The answer is no. Even now, 6 months later, according to Danny, she still maintains that she did nothing wrong and that our entire family overreacted to her innocent fashion choice. She apparently tells people that she was banned from a family wedding over the color of her dress, without mentioning that the dress was white or that she was explicitly asked not to wear it. Some people have also asked if I would handle things differently if I could do it over again. Honestly, the only thing I might change is that I would have been more direct with Sarah from the very first conversation. Instead of trying to be diplomatic and gentle, I should have said, "Sarah, that dress is inappropriate for a wedding guest, and if you wear it, you will not be allowed to attend." Maybe being more blunt from the beginning would have avoided some of the back-and-forth drama. But I don't regret protecting my wedding day, and I don't regret refusing to compromise on my boundaries. Those are decisions I'll stand by for the rest of my life. Final update: this post blew up way more than I expected, and I've gotten hundreds of messages of support from other brides who dealt with similar situations. It's both comforting and depressing to know how common this problem is. To all the future brides reading this, you are not required to sacrifice your comfort, happiness, or special day to spare someone else's feelings. If someone can't follow basic wedding etiquette after being politely asked, that's a reflection of their character, not yours. Your wedding day is about you and your partner. Protect it accordingly. And to everyone saying I should have just let it go, would you tell a groom to let it go if his brother's girlfriend showed up in a wedding dress? Would you tell parents to let it go if someone wore white to their daughter's wedding? The bride deserves the same respect and consideration that you'd give to any other person celebrating a milestone. Thanks for all the support, Reddit. You've made me feel even more confident that I made the right choice. Thank you guys for watching and good luck.